I'm sure you have all heard by now about male player Brayden Fleming on the San Jose State women's volleyball team. But if not, let's dive into it. Women are currently being erased in culture, and I want to amplify their voices and share their stories. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to This is a Woman podcast. And I wanted to put this episode together to tell you all about Brayden Fleming, the male volleyball player on the San Jose State women's volleyball team. There has been phenomenal reporting done on this by Outkick, by Icons, by Riley Gaines. And so I wanted to throw this podcast together for all of you that maybe aren't constantly on Twitter or keeping up with what's going on. And so you can kind of get the whole timeline and what is happening with this situation. So you might have been seeing, I keep saying Brayden, and maybe you've been seeing Blair Fleming, but his name is Brayden. That was the name he was given at birth. He is a male, and so I'm going to call him Brayden Fleming. And so Brayden Fleming is currently on the women's volleyball team at San Jose State. Again, because in California, there are laws that allow for you to be on sports teams based off of not your biological sex, but your gender identity. And so we've now seen this play out. Brayden has actually been on the team for 3 years now, but it has now just kind of been exposed and put out there that he is on this team. And so what have we seen happen? Because now, not only are his teammates being put in a situation of having to be in a locker room with a male, having to practice against a male, but every single team they play against, these women are being put in danger. And for volleyball, this is Division I volleyball. These girls have worked so hard to get to D1 volleyball, to get to this point. And now they're being put in a position to play against a male. And so, again, I just kind of want to walk through different things, what is going on, and all of that. And we've actually seen a lot of controversy over this issue, but I want to dive into just some stats and facts. So yes, Brayden is a male. When it comes down to volleyball, there are differences between male and female nets. The male's net is about 7 inches higher than the woman's net. Is it because the males practice more? Is it because they work harder? No. It's simply because we have these biological differences between males and females. And so we even have a report, a study published by the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine, that male volleyball players average 50% more power in their spike compared to female players. So these biological advantages raise the question, how can competition be fair when male athletes are allowed to compete against women? And now that it's been out that Brayden is on this team, we've been able to look back and see he has actually been playing on women's and girls sports teams since high school. And he transferred into San Jose State. And before he did that, he was actually a part of the women's volleyball team at Coastal Carolina University. And this is in South Carolina. The important thing to note about this is his move to California, his transfer to a California college, happened just before South Carolina passed their Save Women's Sports Act. So that law would have barred him from competing on a women's team in South Carolina. And ultimately, the timing of this transfer does suggest that new legislation may have played a role in his decision to leave South Carolina, to leave Coastal Carolina University and head over to San Jose State University. And so again, we now know he played on women's teams and girls teams even back in high school, which he set a school record for, I believe it was for the most kills on his high school team. He set a school record, which one means a man broke the record of a former high school girl's record that she worked hard for and set a record that's probably going to be extremely difficult to then move forward and beat. And so a lot has happened since we have found out Brayden Fleming is on the San Jose State team, which includes, we've seen now protests and people pushing back. And so let's just dive into that. Also, if you are just listening in on a podcast platform, that is totally fine, but I'm going to be showing some video clips and pictures. So if you want to head over to my Twitter, Sophia S. Lorey, if you want to head over to the YouTube page, This Is a Woman Podcast, you'll be able to see it. But if not, I'll explain everything that's on the screen. And so you guys can see here on the screen now, there is a picture of Brayden when he identified and was Brayden, and now you can see the picture of Blair where he is choosing to identify as a woman. And again, no one can change their sex. Males cannot be females, females cannot become males, and that's it, period. So there's a picture of when he used to acknowledge that he was a boy, and now here's a picture of him in his confusion as a woman. So now let's go into the protest people choosing to not sit by and be silent, which has been amazing progress from what we've just seen in the past 2-3 years to actually have universities say, we are not going to put our girls in this situation. So with that, San Jose State, once it started, again, getting leaked out that there is a male on the team, we've now seen as of today, and today's Monday, October 14th. So everything I'm saying today, again, things are going to keep changing. Things change fast, but everything I say today is what is true up to Monday, October 14th. And so we have now seen 5 teams as of this morning refuse to play against San Jose State, which is University of Nevada, Reno, University of Wyoming, Boise State University, Southern Utah University, and Utah State University. And so the first 4 schools to back out were Southern Utah University, Boise State University, the University of Wyoming, and Utah State University. When they all released statements about why they would not be playing San Jose State, they didn't get into anything specific. They just said they will not be playing in that match, and they do understand that due to the rules and regulations, that means they forfeit the match. Then just this morning, we saw the University of Nevada, Reno women's volleyball team choose to forfeit their match. And they made a really powerful statement, so I'm going to read that all. You guys can see it here on the screen. It says, "We, the University of Nevada, Reno women's volleyball team, forfeit against San Jose State University and stand united in solidarity with the volleyball teams of Southern Utah University, Boise State University, the University of Wyoming, and Utah State University. We demand that our right to safety and fair competition on the court be upheld. We refuse to participate in any match that advances injustice against female athletes." So what's really powerful about this is the story behind this, that when a bunch of schools started forfeiting, when the other 4 did, the University of Nevada, Reno actually put out a statement saying they will be playing in their game against San Jose State University. To which the girls, the women on the volleyball team, didn't know that their university was taking that stance and making that statement. It happened without talking to any of the volleyball players at University of Nevada, Reno. So that statement was announced. That's how the girls found out that that was this choice their school made. And there are amazing girls on that team because they pushed back. They said, we need to think about this. We didn't know this is the position you guys were going to be taking, and we need to be able to decide whether we want to play in this match or not. And so ultimately, they came to the conclusion that they will not be playing. They took a vote. Senior captain Sia Lilly, she has made a couple public comments and said, we are not going to put ourselves in danger. We are not going to aid in the erasure of women's sports, and they're going to stand up for fair competition. And so this was actually due to the athletes, to the female athletes standing up to their school and saying, we're not going to do this, and we don't feel comfortable doing this. And so amazing and so proud of them for taking that stand. You can also see here on the screen, we had the Utah State girls wearing their boycott shirt. And again, if you're just listening, you can't see, but all their shirts, there's 4 of them, and their shirts saying capital letters BOY and then caught, so boycott, because they're standing against boys being in girls' sports. Another amazing story is Brooke Slusser, who is actually the team captain. She is pushing back. She's a team captain of San Jose State University. So the captain of San Jose State University has spoken out about this. And not only has she spoken out, she has joined the lawsuit against NCAA for violating Title IX that Riley Gaines is a part of and over a dozen other female athletes are a part of. So here's what's interesting is Outkick, they did a phenomenal report on this, and you can see they said, Brooke Slusser, San Jose State kept us in the dark about Blair Fleming. And so upon transferring to San Jose State from Alabama in the fall of 2023, Slusser began sharing a residence with 4 of her teammates, including Fleming. She was also assigned to a room with Fleming, who specifically requested her on team road trips. At no point during her recruitment, nor during the 2023 season, was Slusser informed that a male athlete was on the team. It was a really hard pill to swallow because I couldn't comprehend the fact that there was a man on the team, and it was almost as if I was in denial for a really long time that this was happening, Slusser said. So it was just really hard for me to wrap my head around. And then, it still being a topic we weren't really allowed to talk about, it was just kind of whispers behind closed doors that this is what's happening, but no one really talked about it or addressed it, Slusser said. So, we have the captain of the team now speaking out, pushing against this, and what has that resulted in for her? Literal death threats. When they recently played a game in Colorado, they had to have security, metal detectors, and people watching Brooke Slusser because she is receiving death threats because she believes that males shouldn't be on female sports teams. Death threats for common sense. Death threats for standing up for women. Death threats for pushing back against this whole ideology that we can just let men invade women's spaces, women's sports. I mean, if we continue to let this happen, women's sports will no longer exist. And let's also be real. At the end of the day, it's a coach's job to win. We're going to see coaches start recruiting multiple males onto this team so they can win. And luckily, there are coaches that stand against this and have pushed back. But we see the San Jose State coach has actually doubled down and said he is disappointed that schools are forfeiting their matches. He has actually stated that when schools are forfeiting these matches, that they are hurting the girls that have worked so hard for these opportunities, but he doesn't realize these schools have to forfeit these matches because he recruited a male onto the women's volleyball team. Thus, he is the one that's helping aid in these girls losing out on opportunities because of males in female sports. And so, again, we're seeing all kinds of different things. I think it's just absolutely amazing that we've now seen 5 universities say we are not going to play. It also breaks my heart. I do think they're making the right decision. I think if there is a man on the team playing against you, you should say, I'm not going to play. I have to stand against this. And again, it breaks my heart to tell athletes you have to sit out the game. I grew up playing soccer. I played volleyball for a bit, played club volleyball for a bit, but ultimately went with soccer. I played college soccer. I haven't played in a college soccer game since 2021. That's when I graduated, season was over, I was done. I would kill to be able to get one more game with my teammates and one more time in the locker room and being pumped up and being excited and being on the field and hearing the whistle blow to start the game. And I would kill for that. I miss it so much. It was such a great, I dedicated over 18 years of my life to that. So it's really, really difficult asking for girls to sit out. But that's what we have to do to protect women's sports. So now let's think about this. When you're in your senior season, you only have a limited amount of games left. And then your sport is forever done with. Unless if you're going on to pro. These girls are now losing out on a game. Brooke Slusser and the San Jose State girls that are not okay with this have now lost out on 5 of their last ever volleyball games if they are a senior. That breaks my heart that these girls are being put in this position because we have an administration, a presidential administration, the NCAA administration, all these adults that are not doing what's right and leaving girls to fend for themselves. It breaks my heart. My senior season was during COVID. If you tested positive for COVID, you were out for 2 weeks. That's 4 games. I remember me and my teammates, my senior teammates, my senior roommates, we were working so hard to make sure we weren't getting COVID or anything like that because we didn't want to lose out on 4 of our last 12 games ever. And this is what these girls are now being put through. Instead of all the hard work, Brooke and all these other girls that are saying, we're not playing, we're not okay with this, all the hard work they've put in over the years to make it to the Division I level, instead of enjoying their senior year, instead of going out on the court and leaving everything out there just doing your best and enjoying it and celebrating it and enjoying their senior game and being able to just take it all in, that all the hard work they put into this sport has now paid off, and that they get to just go on the court and play the sport they love. Instead of being able to do that, they now have to face this every single day because the adults have done nothing, because the administration has done nothing. They've actually allowed for this. And so we need to keep pushing back. We need to not remain silent. I'm incredibly proud again of Brooke Slusser for standing up against this, for making her voice heard, and not an easy situation to do while she is still currently on the team, currently playing the sport. I'm incredibly proud of all the University of Nevada, Reno girls who said, hey, we don't care that you, university, made this statement. We're gonna not play. We are gonna forfeit this match. And so right now, San Jose State, they are 9-3. And we're just going to keep watching girls get hurt. I mean, this isn't like, oh, maybe a girl could potentially get hurt from a male volleyball player. We have the story of Peyton McNabb, North Carolina high school player, who almost 2 years ago, a male in the high school game spiked the ball down into her face, to which she had partial paralyzation on the right side of her body. She had multiple concussions. She was dealing with brain injuries because there was a male player allowed on the court. So it's not, this could potentially happen. We've seen it happen. And Peyton McNabb has been phenomenal in speaking out against this. And now we're watching college girls being put in the same position. And before I wrap this up, I do want to show you guys a clip of Brayden playing. You'll see how high he's able to jump is just ridiculous. It's evident that he is not a female. You're going to see him spike the ball into a player's face on the opposing team. And it's actually heartbreaking to hear what the announcers say when that happens. Instead of being like, see, this is why we shouldn't have a male on a women's team. They kind of make a joke and lighthearted of it. So let's check out that video clip.
They'll have to continue to look forward as they trail by 10 points here. Fleming! Fleming with a massive blow from the back row and a good job getting it back up by Heron. Slusser sets left. And it's Brooke Bryant able to get the point. Kira Heron hasn't peeked in her ear, and her face is starting to look like she's matching that, as obviously took the contact, but also got to feel a little embarrassed as she's trying to laugh off that last ball.
You've got to feel a little bit embarrassed as she's trying to laugh off that last ball, as if she made an error and missed the ball and put her head into it. No, it's nearly impossible when a male is spiking down the ball to have proper defense in response to that. And so that is the result. Women and girls are losing out on playing games because there is a male in women's sports. Women are going to be injured, and we have to continue to stand against this. We have biological differences. This whole idea of we should have male and female sports isn't new. That's how it's been, because we know these differences exist. We aren't trying to create something new. We're trying to go back what's been in place through Title IX for the past 52, 53 years. So please spread the news about this. Make sure people in your life know what's going on, how crazy this is. I'm praying that we see more of the universities decide to stand out against this. I'm praying that the universities that have played against San Jose State issue a statement that that was a mistake and that they did not protect their female athletes and that they will do better in the future. So I hope to keep you all up to date. Hopefully we'll see more good news come out of this. And I'm looking forward to see what happens with this lawsuit of these female athletes suing the NCAA for violating Title IX.